Hello, everyone. Dr. Laura Mock DDS here again. And today I have my first guest, Dr. Kim Morio. And I'm just going to jump in and start talking to her instead of about myself today. So, Kim.
Laura.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, okay? So, how did you and I meet?
That is a really fun story, and it's going to start way back many moons ago. This would have been when I was a second-year dental student. You don't remember this.
I don't.
But this is something that really stands out in my mind. It was me getting married, pre-children, and I was knee-deep in trying to figure out anatomy of teeth with wax. And I was in the sim clinic. And I walked in the early morning before anybody else got there, and I turned the lights on. And I was like, why is the lights on in the lab? And I walked in there, and there was a woman, who was about, maybe 6-7 months pregnant? There, just trimming models. And I just remember being like, hey. And then kind of tried to figure out who this person was because I was just kind of taken aback by your work ethic at that point in time. And then we kind of just became friends through friends over time. And then, kind of reconnected later on after I got back from the military and then kind of got myself reestablished in the community. And here we are.
Yeah.
So quite a long time.
Yeah. And I will add, speaking of motherhood and dentistry, this gal right here, she's got 4 kids.
4 boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried for the girl.
Got another boy.
How many girls did you get? 3? Okay.
A lot. And Kim is an endodontist, which she accomplished while she was having babies.
Yep. I was actually pregnant during residency.
That's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we have some mothering things in common that way.
I think all women who work and try to be a mom, there's the job of a mom that nobody can take the place of. And so even though there's work, there's always the mommying. And sometimes those kind of meet and they explode. And that's typically when you really start to lean on your really good friends that are kind of going through something similar, and you start to realize that you're not alone, I think is the key ingredient to success almost in all aspects.
Yes, I agree. So can you tell us about your practice?
Yes. So I am an endodontist. That's kind of a long story how I got to that point in my career. It started with going to the Air Force as a general dentist, coming back as a general dentist and practicing in this community, and then deciding, maybe I'll go try being something that I really enjoy doing. And I was thankfully accepted, got through residency, then started up this practice up here in Cedar Rapids, which is just down the street from my husband's practice, which is actually pretty nice. So it's just a practice just focused strictly on endodontics and doing root canals all day long, every day. But what you find is that it's not just about the procedures that you're doing, it's the people that you get to meet and the people that you get to change their life. And that's truly where you start to find your passion within your career.
Yes. So you've been open now for a year?
Almost. So I started, I actually opened my practice starting at my husband's office in end of May, and then the location I'm at in June. Okay. So I'm not quite a year yet. So it's still kind of in its infancy period, I would say.
Yeah. And she has a great team.
It's all about the people. And the team around me, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wouldn't be for them.
Yeah.
But a lot of the reason why I am where I'm at is because of, again, those guidance and the mentorship that you gain from friends. So there's been, again, as you start to go through these kind of situations in your life where you think that you're going to branch out and not only I'm going to be a working mom full time, but now I'm going to be a practice owner. You start to kind of lean on the people that have kind of gone through that as well. And so that was where I really found your guidance extremely powerful, because it really helped me start to understand and look at life from a different angle and a different perspective. understanding how to plan for the future, understanding how to plan for failure, I think was something that was a huge undertaking for me personally, because I think just verbalizing failure itself is something that people do not like to actually say out loud, but understanding that that's just how life is, and then how do you get past that and then look towards success. So that's where this whole year has kind of taken me, and now here we are.
What do you mean when you say planning for failure?
I mean, obviously nobody wants to plan for failure. That's not something that any professional ever sets out to do. But, and I mean, it's like life is a game of baseball, right? Baseball is a game of failure. You are going to strike out, but you're going to get back up and you can home run. But you have to make sure that you've got the self-confidence that you go back up to bat. And so it's not necessarily that you plan for it. It's almost that you accept it as part of the growing pains. And then part of the growing pains is not repeating that same mistake. And so that is things that just with like looking at business and looking at just how do you run a business? How do you run it in the most lean fashion? How do you put forth the desires and goals of your business so that it's reflected within your employees? All of these are things that take time to understand, but also people that you lean on and hear how they've done it through their career, which I think you've been doing for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you mind if I kind of restate the failure
go for
thing? Is it possible that when we started talking about you opening up your own practice, one of your fears was that you would fail and that would be unacceptable? That you didn't want to make any mistakes?
I think that's something that all people fear in all parts of their life, and maybe not just obviously in a professional sense, but then being a mother, in school, being a student. I think, don't we all still wake up with anxiety thinking that we just missed a test or that we didn't get our paper in on time? So is failure necessarily the biggest quote unquote hurdle that we're all trying to overcome? No, I think it's the fear of disappointment, right? It's that you're going to disappoint your professors, that you're going to disappoint your children, that you're going to disappoint your spouse, that you're going to disappoint people around you, that somebody doesn't like you. I think that all of those are fears that once they start to kind of infiltrate into your head, they can start to become something that can then impede you from truly experiencing success, because now you're fearful to actually go forward, or you're fearful to do something that you may not have been comfortable doing before.
Okay.
Maybe, sort of. Okay.
So, do you mind if I ask you one more question?
No.
How did I help you?
Oh. Do we have enough time?
I don't know.
There are so many different avenues and ways that we can take this question. I think that you can take it and go strictly mathematically. How did you help me? Well, very black and white. You looked at the way, like the business, and to make the business successful, you need X, Y, and Z. But that's not truly how you become successful in business and life. What you truly become successful in business is understanding yourself better. And I think through our talks through the last year, through the times before when we've hung out with many friends, what you've always shown me is that there's a strength within. And that although I may have just the self-doubt at that point in time, understanding it's okay to have that feeling.
Yep.
But then also understanding that there is a strategy that I can put forth going forward to accept it, move on, and then experience success, but then also being proud of myself when I experience that success. Sometimes I think successful people feel guilty for that, and you have told me, no, those are the times you take back and you think, good job.
Yeah.
And you allow yourself to say that, which I think is something that we all have a hard time doing. It's very easy to be critical of yourself.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to say something negative about yourself than to say something like, hey, you freaking rocked it. And like, you need to tell yourself that because you did. And it's like when I was having a really difficult time trying to figure out balance of being a mom and working. My children are obviously my utmost priority, as they are for you.
Yep.
But you also told me how important it is for me to make sure that I exercise the part of my brain that I truly love, which is that feeling of work with my hands.
Yes.
Dentistry, being with patients, understanding people. And how do you make those two kind of balance each other out and then say you rocked it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a work in progress, but that's beside the point.
I think we're all a work in progress. For sure. But I just want to say that I am incredibly proud of you because you came from a place where you were timid or scared to make that step into the independence, and you weren't sure with your obligations to your children if it would work out or not, but you got to the place in your head where you knew that you could do it. I knew the whole time that you could, but it can be hard for you as an individual, not you, but people,
Right.
to go, yes, I'm going to take this risk and I'm going to do this hard thing. And maybe I will fail. Maybe nobody will want a root canal from me.
I don't know if anybody ever wants one.
Well, if I ever wanted one or needed one,
We have fun.
yeah. But you took those things, those parts of you, the artist and the scientist and the compassionate nurturer that you are, and you put together a practice that is just right for Dr. Kimberly Morio.
Yeah.
You did it.
And for the people that come into my life, it's exactly right. And and I think the key word that you said throughout that whole thing was feeling timid. You know, I mean, it's so easy to feel kind of like you're, this meek and mild person, but that's not who I am. And so it's something where it's like I had to gain that strength within myself. And there was truly only one way to do it. And it was just like, go out and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else was going to be there to hold my hand. You did a little bit, but that's beside the point. But being there for me to just say, hey, you got it. You got it. And so, and I've been blessed. I have a lot of people in my life that have been there to do that. One of them is my spouse, who's always been kind of pushing me to do it. Not as graceful as how you helped me, but he's nonetheless, he's still there. But, yeah, it's been a good ride, and I look forward to many more years, and understanding that with those many years, there's going to come hurdles and there's going to come things that I'm not seeing right now, but understanding that, again, that strength within, I can figure it out once it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot more confidence now.
Another good word.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Good. We're just throwing them right and left. Okay. Well, this has been a really good interview. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with me today.
Absolutely.
And the world.
Oh, yeah. Hello, world.
We will see everybody next time. Thank you.